shut down, I guess.
Good afternoon and welcome, everyone. As most of you know, my name is Debbie McGrail-Dinning and I'm the Media Relations Officer for the Hamilton Police Service. I will be moderating questions from our media outlets who are present here today. I will give everyone an opportunity for one question with a follow, and given the time, there's not a whole lot of people here, we will have time for murder of John Paul Page. In attendance here today is Chief Glenn De Caire, who will be speaking with you shortly, Detective Sergeant Paul Hamilton of the Homicide Unit, as well as the parents of John Paul Page, Marlene, and Roger Page. Chief.
Thank you very much. The Hamilton Police Service is committed to the relentless pursuit of offenders as a very first commitment in our core value statement. Relentless pursuit. No matter how far, no matter how long, we will never give up. Today, the Hamilton Police Service has concluded the next step in a criminal investigation that commenced July the 29th, 2004, with the murder of Jay Page. We have concluded this stage of our investigation with an arrest, which you will hear about shortly from Detective Sergeant Paul Hamilton. This investigation exemplifies the commitment, the dedication, and the professionalism of the members of the Hamilton Police Service. Last month, the Hamilton Police Service concluded the 12-year-old case related to the burning down of the Hindu temple. The criminal charges in that case are now before the courts, and 3 persons stand accused. We faced challenges in that investigation, but we never gave up. Today's arrest in the murder of Jay Page is now going to move this case to the courts. I want to thank the many investigators that have contributed their professional best efforts that have led to this arrest today. A special recognition must be made to Detective Sergeant Dave Beach, seated in the back of the room. Dave led the investigation for many years and advanced the evidence in a strategic manner towards today's arrest. I want also to recognize the efforts of Detective Sergeant Paul Hamilton and all of the investigators for their investigative planning and a very detailed execution of that plan. Each year for the last 4 years, I have spoken with Roger and Marlene Page, Jay's parents. Since 2004, our Victim Services branch has worked with and will continue to work with the Page family. And we will now move into the next phase of our relationship, which will be that court process I mentioned. You can count on us for support, and we're going to be with you every step of the way. Ladies and gentlemen, this work does not get done without expertise, drive, determination, and perseverance. For the details of the arrest, I now introduce the homicide team lead in this case, Detective Sergeant Paul Hamilton.
Thank you, Chief. On July 29th, 2004, a home invasion robbery took place at 4 Grosvenor Avenue in the city of Hamilton. This was the home of John Paul Page. During the robbery, Page was assaulted and stabbed to death. A post-mortem examination later revealed the cause of death was blood loss as a result of multiple stab wounds. Later that evening, one of the suspects used Page bank card at 2 local Hamilton ATM machines. Although all leads were exhausted in the original investigation, the homicide unit continued to investigate. In December 2012, 7 detectives were assigned to this case full-time and worked tirelessly to bring the person or persons responsible for this murder to justice. The investigation involved the utilization of a number of investigative techniques. This included consultations of experts at the Center of Forensic Science and Cybergenetics, a private DNA lab from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Earlier this morning, and after 9.5 long years, Hamilton police arrested 37-year-old Richard Bennett of Hamilton. Bennett will appear in court this afternoon, where he will be formally charged with first-degree murder in the death of John Paul Page. We know Richard Bennett did not act alone, and we are now focusing on other suspects. My message to them is simple: turn yourself in. We will not stop until all those responsible are brought to justice. I would ask that anyone with information in this investigation to please contact the Hamilton Police or Crime Stoppers. And even though we cannot change the events of July 29th, 2004, I hope this arrest brings some comfort to the Page family today. I also wish that this conveys hope to other families who have been victims of homicide. Know that the Hamilton Police is committed to the relentless pursuit of criminals and offenders, and the Hamilton Homicide Unit will continue to investigate and clear homicide cases. This case involved a significant team effort, and I stress it was a team effort. It took dedication and commitment by a large team of detectives to get where we are today. And I would just like to take the opportunity to say thank you for all of them for their hard work. And at this point, Mr. Page, if you'd like to come up.
Good afternoon. I would like to start by saying our family has been changed forever because of Jay's murder. Jay was a father, a brother, an uncle, a nephew, and a cousin. He was loved by many. It is ironic that this arrest comes at this time of year, as Christmas was Jay's favorite time of year. We would like to thank Chief Glenn De Caire and the Hamilton Police Service for their commitment to resources on our case, the many detectives of the Homicide Unit for their commitment over the years on Jay's case, and Susan Double from the Victim Services Branch. They promised us this case would be solved, and they kept their promise. We would also like to thank the people who have supported us for the past 9 years. The heartbreak of it is that although we are pleased with this arrest, nothing will bring Jay back to us. Thank you.
At this time, I'll have Detective Sergeant Paul Hamilton come back up to the podium and answer any questions you might have. And we'll start with Sean from CH.
Detective, this case lay dormant for almost 9 years. What was that break that turned the tide?
There isn't one specific break. The bottom line with our homicide unit, we continue to investigate these cases. They never go dormant. They never go cold. We continue to work at them until we can develop them into the success we had today.
But was Richard Bennett a person of interest in this case the entire time, or did he come up later on?
Mr. Bennett was known to this investigation from the get-go.
Ken?
Can you speak to how many other suspects you may be looking for?
We have our sights set on more than one other suspect. We know Mr. Bennett didn't act alone, and all I'm going to say is it's more than one.
Catherine?
Can you comment on how central the role he played was?
No, that forms part of the evidence, and because it's before the courts, I'll have to...
What are the accusations then?
The accusations? It's first-degree murder.
Julia?
Were Mr. Page and Mr. Bennett known to each other?
Yes, they were. They were employees together at a company in Oakville.
Can you speak to motive, then, if they were known to each other?
That's part of the evidence, and I don't want to comment on the motive.
Have you been seeking additional warrants for the other suspects?
We're still in the investigation stage, and we're developing the evidence.
I think, Sean, you had a question?
Do you know if there's any financial arrangement between the two known to each other? Were they known as just acquaintances?
Employees together at a company.
Employees, like...
They work together at the same...
transactions between the two of them?
Not that we're aware of, no.
Julia?
Can you speak more to the arrest that happened this morning? Was Mr. Bennett arrested at his home? Was it without incident?
Mr. Bennett was serving a sentence for a previous conviction, and he was arrested at the Central North Correctional Center up in Penetanguishene this morning.
Can you tell us what the prior conviction was?
No, I'm not going to comment on
It's
that.
not related to this case?
No, it's not.
Carmela?
Place of employment. Can you tell us the place of employment?
At the time of the homicide was a company called Gentech.
Gentech.
Yes.
Joey?
Gentech. That's not the technology firm here in Hamilton?
No, I believe it's a vinyl siding company, and
Okay.
it has no relationship to the homicide in any way, the company.
Any other questions? One here.
Can you take us back to 2012 when the case was restaffed? I mean, what precipitated that?
Again, it was just a review of the case. We believe that there were some investigative options that hadn't been explored yet, and we put together a plan to explore those areas, and with some success.
This question is more for Chief De Caire, if I may. You've had a lot of homicides this year. How is the homicide unit handling its caseload at the present time, and are you looking at adding additional resources to it?
Myself, Deputy Chief Gert, Deputy Chief Leendertz are constantly watching the demands upon our service and our investigators, and at this point we have no intention of increasing the staff of the homicide unit. That said, each of the issues that present themselves in our community will be given full consideration for the resources that are required, and we will staff according to that model as we always have.
Okay, one more question. Ken, go ahead.
I seem to recall a reward being in place on this case. Did that play a role with the...
In this particular arrest, no. The $50,000 reward is still available, and again, we do encourage anyone with information to call in.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. I do have a media release for you, and I'll hand it out to everyone before you leave. Thank you.